the more difficult parts of the business that no one tells you about when you first start out? Because as you mentioned, there were so many dealers during COVID. Everyone was trying to be a watch dealer. What's the more difficult things that you've encountered that you maybe didn't even foresee when you first started out in this industry?
Are we talking about a business standpoint or just like...
No, business. Yeah.
Look, I came in... So like I told you guys, I came from a marketing background. I was heavily in production, heavily in marketing. I was doing a lot of marketing work for different agencies as well. So I guess what I knew straight away when I came into the industry, it's a very young and very hustle culture kind of industry. It's not professional at all. A lot of these dealers are basically... kids sometimes, right?
Call them backpack dealers.
Backpack dealers, yeah. So they're not very educated in business in general. They just know how to make a buck, right?
Yeah.
What I knew straight away is when I came in, I was like, you know what? I need to build my brand straight away off the bat. Reputation's king.
Yeah.
So that's why I started working on my socials from the get-go. I started working on reviews. Started trying to get my name out there. That's why I was starting also working with tutors, because I knew that would be for a small amount of capital. I could build it quick and have a lot of inventory and get my name out there on a regular basis. And that's what I basically targeted first. And I guess the second thing that was a hurdle was scams. Scams happen on a regular... I've got scammed once, I'm not gonna lie. I lost about $700. Wasn't that big. It wasn't that much, but still. Scams are huge in this industry. And I guess over time, as the scammers learn who you are, they stop kind of trying. Because you can tell, hey, you know, my son is gonna pick up this watch from you this afternoon.
All the games,
all these games that they try to do, and you kind of start being able to pick up the different red flags from experience and different people's recounts. And obviously, I've got 4 partners as well that work with me, and we all share kind of stories and try to ask each other for certain tips and tricks. But I guess advice that I can give for anyone that's looking to buy a watch from the grey market is, if it's too good to be true, it's most likely too good to be true, right? No one's selling a Submariner for 10 grand these days anymore, right? They're worth about 20, 24 grand, so no one's going to sell it for half price. They're not that stupid. I mean, some people are. I mean, you can usually sometimes get a decent bargain, but for the most part, they're not. So yeah, I guess those are the 2 things that I'd say would be the 2 hurdles that I had to kind of overcome getting to where I am today. So.
Excellent, man. Love it. And why did you tell me about, so you mentioned the marketing side and the video side of your business. How have you leveraged that to grow this business? What specifically have you been doing? Is it social media? Is it YouTube? Like what works?
Yeah. I don't know if you know who this guy is, Gary Vee.
Oh yeah.
Surely you know who he is. So I was binging his content for a long time. I was binging Alex Hormozi for a long time as well. So these guys are like content.
We love Hormozi.
He's the best.
We call him Hormozi.
That's true.
We love him, but
he's not natural, isn't he?
He'll openly say he's not.
Yeah.
That's great. Yeah, we love him.
Joe Rogan as well. But what I've learned from these boys is that you can obviously tell that they're masters what they do in terms of not just what they do in terms of marketing or business, but also they're masters at content. And I saw that and I was like, also, I mean, you learn quite a bit doing videos for different clients. You know, you kind of learn what works, what doesn't. So what social has really helped me do is just add the extra touch point to a client, especially in an industry where it's very scary to buy something, especially when you're new.
Yeah.
You don't know what you're buying. You don't know who you're buying from. Having a face to a name and having a face to a product and having a face there to kind of be able to, depend on you get a bit more a sense of security. And that's what I try to build with my brand. I try to just build trust and honesty kind of stuff. So it helps with them trusting me in buying stuff, right? So I think it's helped tenfold. And I told Tufik this prior to the podcast is that about 20% of my business comes from Facebook. 70% comes from Instagram.
Wow. The
remaining is just like word of mouth. Maybe remaining is word of mouth in Google. So my inbox on Instagram is flooded on a daily basis. But understandably, it's not going to work for a B2B type of industry. It may not work as well. We're B2C and also where we've got a lot more sexier product. But it's not to say you can't generate business from socials, right? So I think socials is a massive component to any business.
Yeah, I love that. I've got a question for you. It's a bit of a story as well. I have a mate who was trying to get a watch, can't get it at the AD, so they went down the grey market route. They went into the grey dealer, and they were adamant that's it. They were buying this watch, right? And they go into the grey dealer and they start asking questions about the watch just to make sure that the AD is like they can trust whatever. And the idea was like, not the AD, the grey dealer. And the grey dealer was very like, didn't really know exactly what the watch was, didn't know the reference, didn't know like it didn't look like a complete set. It looked like they sort of just put it together. And so they just felt uncomfortable. And when you're spending a lot of money, you really want someone you can trust and all that sort of thing. So my question is, what's a red flag, or what's one of the red flags that what's a few red flags that someone can look out for when they're trying to buy a watch?
From a grey market dealer?
Yeah.
Okay. So obviously knowledge is king. That's a weird saying. But yeah, knowledge is quite important. So if you were, there's two ways you can actually buy a Rolex from the grey market, right? You can either go to a grey market, you can go to a backpack dealer, Facebook, Marketplace and all that. They usually try to get you to meet McDonald's or something in the middle of the night. It's funny actually. I know a backpack dealer down in Melbourne actually. He has a Porsche actually, so he's doing okay for himself. But he met a dude at McDonald's at 9 p.m. at night.
Wow.
Right? The dude hops into his car. Wow. They look at the watch, have a conversation, and the guy's like, yeah, good to go. End up nicking the watch and
sounds like a disaster.
Yeah. It was horrible. So, anyways, the guy in the dealer in the Porsche started chasing the dude. Was on the phone with the cops, and then what ended up happening is the cops told him to stop chasing him. You know, they'll try to find him. They know who he is. Eventually, what happened was they actually caught the guy. Oh, right. The guy walked into the police station with the watch on his wrist, saying, "Oh, hey, my car was stolen, whatever," and they caught him right then and there. Right. If the guy didn't have the watch on him, they wouldn't have been able to retrieve that watch. But because he had it on his wrist, they confiscated it, gave it back to the original dude. Yeah. But that's a type of stories that we hear on a regular basis with backpack dealers. Unfortunately, because there's no secure place, no insurance, no cameras, no security, it does make it quite scary to buy from the grey market because you don't know what you're buying sometimes as well. You don't know if it's a fake. You don't know if it's coming from a reputable source. You don't know if it's stolen. If what's hot, as in if it's stolen. That could be a massive issue for you. Say someone runs a serial and it's in police database, it's been stolen, it could get taken back. So that's one way you can go about it. But it's not to say that that backpack dealers are bad. They're out there trying to make money as well. I know a lot of good backpack dealers as well. But then just trying to make sure that you're meeting them at a watchmaker so that they can actually authenticate the watch for you prior to you giving them money. Or the second option is to obviously go to someone like myself, where we do have a proper office, security, insurances, licenses. So there are obviously second-hand dealer licenses that we all have to be able to operate as a second-hand dealer license, the second-hand dealer. So you can come into this place and, for example, with our showroom, we've got like tons and tons of watches where you can try different stuff on. And majority of our stuff are full set. What I mean by full set is that it has all the paperwork to show that the watch is authentic. And all kind of stuff.
Tufik, I know you had a question around, what type of registrations, licenses, how do you get around the money laundering? Like, what's the,
I think we all know, goes without saying, watches are used and can be used in money laundering, right, in some illegal markets, right? What red tape has the government instituted for you guys to try to stop you involving yourselves in things like that?
Money laundering definitely a massive issue in our industry because luxury goods, easy move items around, right? Yeah. So you can just...
It's very easy to put $100,000 on your wrist.
Yeah, and no one would know anything about it, right?
Fly overseas, trade it for local currency and move on.
Yeah, you're right. You're right about that. Rolex in general, not just Rolex, but all these other high-end brands that are trading above retail and trading really well, they use it to move currency around the world. So you can actually buy a watch here, move it overseas on your wrist and no one knows, right? Yeah. So red tape, AUSTRAC is one that the government have implemented. I mean, not just in the watch industry, but in general for cash transactions. Right. And also knowing, I think the value's over $5,000. If they pay anything over $5,000, you do have to record the information down. And that's what we do basically. And anytime we're buying or selling a watch, we're always asking for ID. So obviously we're tracking everything down. So it does... it is a bit more of a, I guess, process in terms of all this extra admin paperwork, but then you got to do it just to make sure you're above board. 100%. You don't want to get raided and the cost base is saying, "Hey, where's this watch is coming from?" And then they run the serials and then nothing's been registered and nothing. You've got no record. So I know a lot of people, unfortunately, when they're doing trades, doing quick deals in and out, and they don't record anything, which is a big issue. Yeah. Especially if you get audited by the ATO and all that as well. So that's the type of stuff that we deal with.